Right now, though, officially, I mean, as officially as can be, he's recognized as an indep. And right now, it's dangerous to be an indep on the streets. Tasbit, it turns out, has been spending quite a long time in the Civic Fest Hall. The idea being that since he wants no part in the violence happening in Sigil with the Indeps, and since he has no desire to leave Sigil, that choosing colors would be a prudent course of action for self-preservation. The Sensates are a very wealthy faction. They're kind of in line with his skills and talents as it is, and even though he doesn't fully believe their philosophy, it might be a prudent course of action to join. So he's been spending a lot of time at the Fest Hall.
All right, so I go to the Fest Hall, see if I can find him there.
Didn't you piss off the Factal of the Sensates at one point?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a very brief, friendly conversation.
Friendly? Okay. Oh,
I invited her to see my band.
She didn't go, by the way.
Ciclon.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think she did.
Ciclon would probably, everything that he took care of has already been taken care of, so Kelian would probably find him at the soup kitchen.
For that evening, but in the afternoon, are you staying at the kitchen, just working there?
Yeah.
Okay. Serenity and Mahogany.
Serenity's afternoon action was going to be to tell everyone to get together in the hidey hole.
In the hidey hole?
Yep.
Okay, and what about Mahogany?
Mahogany's gonna go check out what new restaurant has moved into his shop.
Alright, Mahogany. Your shop's fine. It's still there, locked up just the way you left it. Your name's still on the door.
No more taxes ever.
Mahogany is shocked.
No new graffiti on the walls. But walking to your shop, you recognize the increased number of both Indeps and Mercy Killers on the streets. Like, there's a tension in your area of the city that's generally not there.
Huh. Alright. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm happy. I think I'll probably just tidy up a little bit and then head over to where Serenity wanted to meet.
Okay. And bear with me 1 second.
So that's 2 rats necks broken this week.
All these poor rats. What did they ever do to you?
Well, they were delicious if Serenity has her way with things.
The Fest Hall is a really big place. But as a general rule, they don't host a lot of Modrons. So asking around for Tasbit, you find him in relatively short order. He was last seen in one of the Sensoriums, and you find him there. He was gaining the sensation of taking an acid bath in the abyss. And he tells you, kind of in confidence, that he doesn't see the appeal.
He said, yeah, steer clear of the abyss in general. It's a terrible place.
So, I already forgot. What faction do you present yourself as being to Tasbit?
To Tasbit, I've always presented myself as an indep. But he knows that I'm not, because he has the no faction spell, I believe. At one point, I was going to learn it from him until I realized it doesn't work on Anarchist.
Okay. So he still believes you're an indep then?
No, I mean, he would know that I'm an Anarchist, because he has the spell.
Okay. He doesn't hold that against you.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it would, but I've never seen any reason to lie to him, because I know that he can see right through it.
Gotcha. But yeah, you do find him at the Fest Hall. And he does seem a little shaken that the band fell apart so quickly. And that there's been so much violence in the streets as of late. But he's happy to see you.
Yeah. So I'll listen, Tasbit, I know I've been away for a while, and I haven't been a great bandmate. How many gigs have we've known each other for months, and how many gigs together have we played? 3, 4?
He says, I think maybe 2.5.
Right, so you're rounding down and I'll rounding up. Point is, I think it might be time for the two of us to call it quits.
Well, and he says, now that you're back in town, surely we can find some more players. find a venue.
I see. Well, the thing is, I never know when I'm going to have to leave again. You know, I just don't want to leave a whole string of broken bands in my wake, with just you hanging on in between each one.
And he nods and he says, "You know, no, I get it. I understand.
Really, this is for your own good, Tasbit. I'm setting you free."
And he holds out his hand and says, "Well, we had a good run.
We did.
We didn't, but
we would have.
We would have. We would have had a very good run."
I'll shake it. And I'll say, "See you around the wire?"
And he will. He'll be there.
All right, then.
So the question now is, do you all convene that evening at the Hidey Hole, or do you all reconvene that evening at Amuleth's hotel?
Do I get the message when I, try and get people to show up at the hidey hole?
Yeah, all 5 of you learn that you're supposed to get everybody together.
Oh, well then I'll just go to I'll just let anyone know. I'll leave a note at the hotel that says meet, or at the hidey hole that says meet at the hotel.
Okay.
And all when he goes to leave off the note, I'll join him.
Okay. And so the 5 of you reconvene. You meet at the at Amuleth's room.
Okay.
Didn't expect to see you again so quickly, but hello, all the same.
And it's not even a single room. I mean, he's rented out what is essentially a huge penthouse suite for himself.
An apartment.
Several rooms, one of which is a large solar that he invites you all in, and there's fresh food available that kicks the hell out of anything Riot could conjure with magic.
There's 40 pounds.
And several doors off the room leading to private quarters, one of which is in use by him. And he says he's delighted to see all of you again, and like he mentioned to Kelian earlier, things are moving quicker than he anticipated. And at your behest, they're ready to move forward to the plane of fire.
Did I get the details of when this 3-on-3 match was supposed to go down with Happy? Was he forthcoming on any more details on that?
What he told you before you left for Mount Celestia was that essentially Zemdir is on your timetable. He wants Happy fighting, and it's up to Happy who he brings in with him. So there's not really a timetable on that. There's not going to be a deadline that expires. If that's something you want to pursue with Happy, you can do that before leaving. Because Amuleth kind of says the same thing. Like, there's no urgency to this mission. This is Jandar doesn't see us coming. We have the element of surprise, and we have the advantage of whatever's in this box.
Serenity would say, I would need at least a day or two. There was some stuff for my faction I'd like to take care of before I leave.
Okay.
And Ciclon will bring up the thing that he was talking. We'll bring this up as well. That he has some business as well.
And he says he understands. You all have been away from Sigil for a long time. A lot of your pots have gone cold. And he says that it wouldn't do to go into the mission kind of haphazardly because other things are on your mind. He implores all of you to finish your businesses first and go to the plane of fire with a clear and focused mission in mind.
Yeah.
How does one survive on the plane of fire? Speaking hypothetically.
You wouldn't need to ask that. As a Sigillian, you would know that the Great Bazaar, there is a wide trade of magic items specifically designed for planar protection. Mm-hmm. So what you would essentially do is go to the Great Bazaar and buy a ring or an amulet or some kind of item that it's not a protection against fire, it's specifically against protection from heat on the plane of fire. Like, you could wear this and go to the plane of fire, and it would protect you. But you couldn't wear it and go to, say, a layer of Beator and have it protect
and it would only
you.
protect us from the ambient fire, like a fire elemental or something would still hurt, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's cheaper.
Right, that's the point. Is they're exceedingly inexpensive. I mean, they're relatively inexpensive. We're still not talking about coppers, but it's not like trying to buy a ring of fire protection.
Well,
which
So
would be
here's
close
the
to
thing.
talking
None
impossible.
of
about
us have
silver.
any money.
I hope we're talking about silver, because that's all anyone here has.
Yeah, none of us have any money, and he's staying in a penthouse suite.
Right?
Yeah.
Is he willing to get these rings for us?
He says he could accommodate that.
All right.
He can't promise that they would be rings, but he could find something.
I'll
he also,
wear whatever.
an LC clone, having been to the city of Brass, you know that while it's uncomfortably cold, or uncomfortably hot there, it's uncomfortably cold for some of the denizens of the Plane of Fire.
For the locals.
But there are protections in place. The city of Brass is a city on the Plane of Fire that rivals Sigil in size and population.
Yeah, basically, LC Clone would describe the city of Brass as, think Sigil, but on fire.
So like that tower, then.
Kinda.
You maybe like ambient temperature, probably about 110 degrees.
Yeah, you don't want to be wearing heavy layers there.
So it's uncomfortably cold to, say, a fire elemental, or an Efreeti, or a Magman, or the denizens of the Plane of Fire, but uncomfortably warm for the rest of you, but not deadly to either.
So if you could get me, like, a scrunchie of protection from the Plane of Fire, that would also be useful. Because I like to not always look the same.
Okay. But now the time has come. He needs the box so he can open it.
All right, Kelian, it's yours, man.
Kelian knows.
Kelian pulls out the box, puts it on the table, or a table.
And Amuleth picks it up, says the ritual will take about 30 minutes, and retires to one of the nearby rooms.
Kelian doesn't want that box out of his sight.
So how do you stop Amuleth from taking it into the other room?
You kind of like whine at him.
Let me ask this: how does Kelian just gets up and follows after him? So what does?
Oh, he turns and holds up his hand and says, "Have faith, brother. I shall be back in short order. Your curiosity will be sated."
All right.
Come on, Kelian.
And
Have some fruit.
Yeah, he has sit down.
Tosses a pear at Kelian.
And a pear hits you on the head, bounces off, goes rolling off to the corner of the room.
Hey, I've got good decks. Come on. I'd catch that.
So he retires into the room, and you all feast on the hotel's food and wine.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's all just sit in silence and wait for Nodal to come back. Riot, do you want to sing one of your new songs while we wait?
Do it.
Yeah, sure.
Do it.
Do you guys want to hear the one about the gold I stole, or about the one about Heart's Faith?
Heart's Faith.
Okay. Let's see. Busted from the jump just for being alive. A side of yours truly they could never abide. Guilty of grudges past the shadow of a doubt. Welcome to town, I got the hell back out. You got a heart to faith, you face the lion's law. They don't look for proof before the hammer falls. I asked the fella there, what do you do all day? He said, around here we like to worship and pray. No one in the burg gave me nothing but grief. Best thing I did there was help someone leave.
Well done.
Okay. That was the song. Very good. I'm disappointed the song was not entitled Lamasu's Butt. Do we have Nodal back yet?
I just came back. Sorry, I had to get eye drops put in my eyes because I'm getting laser shot on them tomorrow.
Oh. Well, we'll pour one out for your eyes after the game.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to shoot lasers out of them when they're done, is the question.
That's the hope.
Okay.
I'm paying enough.
After 20 or 30 minutes, Amuleth comes out of the room, looking a little winded, looking a little tired, as though he's just done something that requires great exertion. And he kind of has a look of confusion on his face. And in his hand, he's holding what is unmistakably a mummified nose.
Cock my head.
Been at this whole time?
Well, yeah, what the hell?
And he walks up to the table, and he sets the opened box down. And in the box, there's a silk inlay.
That a dog
Is
came
the
out
dog
of.
playing? I mean, he is a Hound Archon. He starts yipping at you. Inside the box, the strings of which have been pulled open, the paper torn back, the box open. Inside is a silk inlay with a recess that is shaped like a nose. And he says this is what was inside.
What the hell
I'm
is
struggling
this?
to understand how this is a secret weapon against Jandar.
Well, this wasn't a weapon against Jandar. This is something that Jandar wanted.
Maybe Jandar needed a new nose.
Maybe he's having lasers shot up his nose.
Why was this? Why was a box? Where was a?
And he hands the nose to Kelian.
But this is the thing, right? We were supposed to bring this box to you and present it, and you'd open it. And I just don't understand what the Cosgrave was playing at.
He says, whatever this thing does, I know that it is a device of some magical quality, but I have not yet ascertained what qualities it may possess.
Alright, so I guess we're going to have
Do
to
you
go
know
get
what school of
Doffinder for
magic
another
it is?
pearl.
Elsie clones, repeat that.
Looks like, so I guess what, we go get Doffinder and hand her another pearl?
Doffinder's not part of this. She'll never agree.
He says
I mean,
he can.
Doffinder will agree to anything.
He says he can identify it with more time.
Well, that
Okay.
seems valuable.
Yeah.
He asks, though, that he said there was more difficulty opening the box than he anticipated. There were more protections laid here than I expected. And the protections were deceptive in nature. My first attempt at opening it failed. I used a sort of magical scrying to determine how it was closed. And using that information to open it instead triggered a sort of emotional trap. I'm okay. I don't think it was meant to ward off the likes of an Archon. He said, my fear is that if I were to use a spell to identify the nature of this nose, that the information I receive would not be reliable. My advice would be to allow me to take it back to Mount Celestia, where that sort of spell never fails. Information is always true.
Understandable. Alright.
But he looks at Kelian and says, but I will defer to your wishes.
Maybe you should go with him, Kelian, just in case.
Kelian, I know how you were just asking for another vacation back to Mount Celestia.
So he's willing to attempt the spell here, but he's worried that anything he gets from magically identifying the device here would be a deception.
Should we do it before we're ready to go to the Plane of Fire?
He says he'll leave that up to you. Because he has no idea what this thing does, he has no idea if it will be useful to you or not.
Also, do you know of a gate to the Plane of Fire, or are we planning to go through the gate town? I don't think there are gate towns to the inner planes.
Getting to the
I've never
city
had
of
a job
Brass. There are lots of roads between Sigil and the city of Brass. It'll be trivial when the time comes. Let me reiterate. There are lots of safe roads between Sigil and the city of Brass because lots of trade goes back and forth.
I wouldn't want to go after Jandar without knowing what this thing is.
I'm inclined to agree.
No, I agree. I don't know that we need to identify it right now, or that could be the first thing we do when we leave.
Well, it sounds like it's going to take some time. So, why don't we go let Cosgrave do his thing, we finish up our business, and we'll all leave together.
He's not a Cosgrave.
Yeah, Amuleth.
Serenity's just going to sort of look at Kelian when that suggestion comes up.
I mean,
Your call, Kelian. You're the one who's bound to this thing.
It's true.
I want to know why Rowan Darkwood was throwing all of his weight around, bullying me around, pushing me for a magic nose.
Hey, I almost died when Dilla tried to get it for me.
I'll turn towards Amuleth and I'll side whisper, he's one of the most dangerous people in Sigil.
So what's Kelian's decision?
Yeah, Kelian will go back to Mount Celestia because he loves it there.
So you're going to accompany Amuleth back.
Yeah.
Okay. So he places the nose back in the box. And he closes it and says, "Don't worry, the box itself has been dispelled. It will trouble you no more when you attempt to open it." And he hands it to you for your safekeeping.
Well, no time like the present, unless...
I'll go with you.
All right.
So, is anybody else going to go back with Kelian?
Hell
Just
no.
Serenity?
Ciclon will look to Mahogany and say, Happy was through earlier today, and he's chomping at the bit for this thing that we talked about, this fight."
Mahogany's eyes will light up, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, let's do it. When is it?"
Whenever Happy arranges it. Want to? We can go back and find him, and we can hash this out now.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Okay.
Alright?
So, one last thing that we want to address. Does Kelian at any point tell them about his meeting with Aunt Nancy?
Yeah. Kelian will mention that Aunt Nancy has paid him a visit. And he will explain to them what the fourth step of, or the next step of what the next step of the game is. And he will show as proof the rusty trident head. And he will be upfront and honest, and yeah, he's not gonna go with the cover story, and he's not gonna deceive them.
Okay, so Kelian has told you all in no uncertain terms that the next step of the game is to kill a god.
Which god?
Ciclon's eyes go wide. It's like, what are you?
Kelian
what?
points to the trident head and goes, "That one."
And it's
Right.
not a sigil that any of you have ever seen before.
Right, which one is this?
Apparently
Well,
she's a
Bob would be
minor
happy.
god. She's apparently a minor god, and we steal a trinket from her that has her magic power, and she fades into the ethereal.
That I'm not. What?
Well, listen. Let me tell you something else. Remember when I told you all about how we were going to, when I proposed that we enter into an alliance with the Middle Bobs?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's part of that I left out because we weren't on Seagull, and I wasn't sure if Aunt Nancy could overhear us there. I really don't trust Aunt Nancy, based on what he told us about last time. He wants to control all stories. Listen, that's a bad thing. I was hoping we could find some way to subvert this game, and for what it sounds like this latest round, it's just nothing but confirming my suspicions.
Is Amuleth here?
I'm assuming you're having this conversation somewhere else. That Amuleth is not privy
Yeah.
to any of the Aunt
Yeah,
Nancy
let's head
discussion.
back to the hidey hole after that.
Yeah.
Let's snap some rat necks.
Well,
I have this recipe for Furon rat that I was told Tieflings like. If you'd like to try some, Riot.
Yeah, cook it up.
So while they're having this conversation, Serenity is preparing the rat.
Okay.
so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we can get any more information out of this until we find out who that god is, no matter what we decide.
No, I think that's the first thing to do.
If it's an evil or good god or whatever?
Yeah.
And from what you said, that this god bears very little power in a very small, or like he said a dying prime realm. Is that right? What I heard?
She's a minor god, and stealing this trinket will effectively reduce her to nothing.
Well,
Anyone want some pepper cracked? I've got the hair on, but
well,
Riot. I'm gonna have one.
I'm thinking that
I'll try it.
if anybody would have familiarity with gods like that, it would either be people of my own faction or the Aethar.
Yeah.
Obviously.
This whole thing sounds right up Bobrick's alley.
Yeah.
And I bet him looking into it will keep him busy for a while.
True.
Also, I've found out a little bit of information about the cult of the jailer, and I was wondering if I'd call in a favor, and she'll be looked between Riot and Kelian.
Sorry, what was that?
I've looked up a bit of information about this cult, and I was wondering if I could call in a favor, and she's looking at Riot and Kelian in particular.
What cult?
The cult of the jailer. They're trying to get the entirety of the ciphers mazed, as far as I can tell.
Oh.
You know, the guys followed me around that one day.
And Riot considered this for a moment, and she said, would she maze every cipher, or just... or just the ones who hadn't denounced God?
Last I heard, she was specifically thinking that an anarchist among the ciphers might be looking into it. Might be causing some trouble, you know, like with Diller.
Huh.
At any rate, I know where their leader is, and I'm decided that we're just going to go and kill him.
Alright, well, have fun with that.
Kelian?
Yeah, sure, I'm in. But I thought we were going to Mount
Ciclon?
Celestia first.
I mean, I'm kind of loath to kill a person just because he believes something, but if he's dragging the entire faction down, that's not good either.
I am almost entirely sure that that's what will happen.
Why are we killing them?
It's the only way to stop
This
them.
seems a little unlike you.
You know, there's another way to avoid this.
Serenity's looking at you like she's listening.
Leave the faction.
I prefer
Right,
murder.
so-
I think murder is the better solution here.
Well, you would.
If she's mazing ciphers, if that's what all this is going to lead to, then it seems to me like anybody who doesn't want that to happen should get out of the ciphers right now.
You know, the last time the lady mazed a faction, she didn't stop at one.
Well, maybe she should have kept going.
Take out the anarchists?
Take everybody out.
Well, at any
Wow.
rate, I was hoping to do it once we get back from Celestia, so if anyone wants, day after, meet me here.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm in.
Thank you, Kelian.
Mahogany's like 3 steps back, and he's like, so wait, like start up a new sigil in the maze?
I mean, also, to be fair, some people won't be mazed, they'll probably just be flayed.
Seems to me that solution's the same either way.
Do you think she would flay a bear?
I think she can tell that you're not entirely a bear, Mahogany. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that.
I'm just saying, what about house cat? No one would flay a house cat.
I think once you've been flayed, it wouldn't matter if you were a bear anymore.
Well, you guys do that, and I'm going to go off to the Middle Bop Company if anyone else wants to come.
All right.
Well, I already said I'd help you out with that, so I'll come with you.
We're all
Okay.
still playing the game, right?
I don't even know anymore.
All right. As long as we're all still playing the game, that's fine.
So, to kind of wrap things up for tonight.
We are spinning a lot of plates.
Got it, yeah.
A little bit.
First and foremost, are you enlisting Boberick to investigate this trident?
Oh, yeah, he's the perfect person for it.
Yeah, this is right up his alley.
And he's delighted. Do you tell him what the next job is?
I don't see any reason why we need to do that.
I mean, would you say it's Aunt Nancy business?
I mean, he asks up front when he gets
I
word that you guys have been in contact with Aunt Nancy. He up front he wants to know what's next. I got this.
The first part of the job is we need to find out what god this belongs to.
And he says digging up shit on the gods is what he lives for. And he wants to know what kind of like mediocre, pathetic god has this kind of rusty ass fish symbol.
Probably a garbage one.
That's why we're asking you.
Do you think it was rusted as part of the symbology, or do you think it's just This is a rusty instance of it.
Well, it's a trident, so it could have just been underwater for a while.
Right. No, that's what I'm asking.
Well, you're the one who knows about things being underwater for a while.
Okay, so he's set to that task.
So be sure to check on non-rusted tridents if you don't find anything about the rusted one.
I've never rusted.
So I know what to start preparing for the next time. You guys have 2 tasks ahead of you, neither of which have an intense sense of urgency. And I'm assuming or hoping that you're going to look to both of them eventually. On one hand, go to the Plane of Fire. Finish up business with Jandar.
Oh, yeah.
That can't be done until you guys investigate this nose, put a plan together, etc. The next session of the game is going to be another Sigil thing, getting all these ducks in a row. Probably doing the thing with the middle bobs, doing the thing with Naram, and the thing with Zemdir.
And, Happy.
Yeah, that's Zemdir. That's the fights that Zemdir.
Oh, Zemdir. Okay.
So that's one option. Option A is next off-Sigil adventure, probably starting session after next, going to the Plane of Fire, to the City of Brass, seeing about finishing this thing up with Jandar. The other option, after getting Bobrick's report, is going to the Plane of Mechanos and doing the next Aunt Nancy gig.
Yes.
So this John Dar thing seems a whole lot final boss. Let's go do some side quests, do some Aunt Nancy for a while.
No, the quest giver for the Jandar oh no, you're right. Yeah, because the quest giver even said we didn't have to go on it immediately. That totally means we need to level up more.
Right.
To be clear, I haven't started designing either of these adventures yet, so whichever one you do first is going to be balanced for lower level, and then whoever you do next is probably going to be balanced for like level 7. So, I just need to know. So let's do a quick out of character vote. Who wants Plane of Fire next?
I'll go. I'll be the vote for that. But that's.
And so, who wants Mechanos next?
I do.
Yeah. I think Mechanos is good.
Everybody wants the Aunt Nancy thing next. Okay, we're gonna do both eventually because long time ago I asked you guys what planes you wanted to adventure on, and we've done 3 of them, and the last 2 are Mechanos and the Plane of Fire.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So once these adventures are done, essentially the first leg of this campaign, like I said, this campaign I have planned out split into thirds. The first third will be concluded. Congratulations.
Yay.
Congrats, everyone.
Yay.
All right, so I will start. Like I said, next session is going to be in Sigil because you guys have a lot of stuff going on in Sigil. And we can see the conclusion of some of that. Some of those are seeds for future plot threads that won't come into play just yet. The next off-plane adventure, we will go to Mechanos, because apparently you guys have not had it lawful enough.
So are you taking votes for the next set of planes? Because positive energy.
That's such a shitty plane to adventure on.
Salt.
I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see.
Oh, I'll be at home there. I'll be at home there.
Because to try to not spoil anything, but like I said, I have the campaign kind of broadly planned out in thirds, and one of those thirds is going to be a long-term module that I've always wanted to run and never gotten the opportunity. So for and I haven't decided if it's going to be the middle or the big conclusion at the end. But so there's going to be a lot of much more structured adventuring when we get to the module. So I might take another round of planes. Is that what you guys want to do, is take another round of planes?
I feel like we've seen all the good planes.
I feel like we haven't seen enough of the bad planes.
I also feel like I asked what planes, and one of you assholes said Pandemonium, and that's definitely not one of the good ones. Let me go ahead and get a straw poll set up here.
That's the thing is, can we like take a list of all the planes from everyone except Destil?
Where can I even send us that's worse?
So for next session, though, I've got Zemdir, we've got Naram, we've got the nose on Mount Celestia, and we've got some Middle Bob stuff.
Yeah.
Quasi-real plane of horses.
So that's what we'll handle next week. So let me go ahead and get a straw poll set up here. I misspelled straw poll. Woo!
Good job.
I'm
Ready,
the best.
Berkwood.
So is there a domain squatter at that misspelled straw poll?
No, I caught myself and deleted it. I was assuming it would be probably midget porn, so I didn't want to go through with it. I also misspelled Ciclon. Woo!
Man, you're just on fire today, Brick.
No, you're on fire. You're going to the plane of fire eventually.
Oh, snap.
No, you're on fire.
No, you.
Ah.
Here's a straw poll. At the end of the session, we give out a bonus blip of experience to whoever wins that poll. So everybody go there and vote for who your favorite character was this session. You only get one vote, so use it wisely. And I am going to do a bit of tallying real quick, so then we'll come back and do our blip and belief rundown. Before I do that, though, it was McDohl's fault that you all went to Mount Celestia. That was his pick. Was it everything?
Wait, which McDohl?
Was it everything you hoped it would be?
And some. It was so awful for Kelian, it was great.
Yeah, no. Kelian had the worst time there.
I still want to know what asshole picked fire. Like, who, when asked what plane you want to go to, says, "Oh, I don't know, the one where everything is fire."
Well, let me ask you this, Nodal. Have we gone to the plane you picked yet?
No, my
And
plane
did
is
you
perfect.
did you pick the plane of fire?
No.
So you know who picked it.
See, I'm not smart enough to remember, though.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take 2 minutes to do some math. I'll be right back.
I don't know
Nick
whether I should
picked-
blame Nick or...
No, because Nick wanted to see our personas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
was
I should have
decent.
remembered that. Alright, so now I know which asshole to blame.
You're welcome.
See, my pick was perfect, because Brick asked me what plane I wanted to go to, and I said, I'm not really sure. Which is the one with all the Modrons on it? Let's go do some Modron shit. Modrons are great.
That sounds. Yeah, no, I'm down for Modrons too.
My Saturday game, I've been throwing a bunch of Modrons at it, and I ran it in a bit of an unconventional way, which is that I had in each of the rooms in this like clockwork dungeon that they're running, there are a bunch of monodrones who are not programmed to fight. Their one programming, because monodrones can only execute one thing, is unrelated to combat. So just walking around the battlefield randomly. But and I talked with Rick about this. Like the way I'm reading it is that if you kill a higher level Modron, like a Duodrone or a Tridrone, it reincarnates as the nearest Modron below its rank. So if they don't kill all the monodrones first, then the monodrones start turning into the Duodrones and Tridrones and Quadrones as the fight progresses.
Right.
So even though they enter the room and it looks like, oh, there's one Quadrone and 6 Tridrones here, that's fine. There's 10 monodrones, so they could be like fighting as many as 10 of these extra higher level things.
No, yeah, that's exactly how my understanding of it goes.
So it was fun to see them. Like the first fight was not that bad, and then I used that to teach them that like look, this is how it works. So when you get to the real fights, you need to like pick your targets very carefully.
You kill all the ads. Got it.
Yeah.
Don't stand as the gears.
They all. Did I tell you the story of how they almost got a TPK?
Maybe, but I don't specifically remember.
They got it through. Well, it happened through almost no enemy action. So what happened was, they like on the first round of this fight, one of the Modrons attacked our sorcerer, and he said, "Oh, I cast shield." He had previously used. I know I told Moto this. He had previously used Tides of Chaos. So I was like, oh, well, that's a level 1 spell, shield, and so you used Tides of Chaos before, so now you got to roll on Wild Magic table.
Oh,
He rolled Fireball centered on himself. So he nuked himself, the rest of the party, a bunch of Modrons to his credit, and he rolled real good on the damage.
Nice.
Then after that happened, somebody else who I had just given in the end of the last session, a Helm of Brilliance
Oh god.
said, I think my helm just exploded. Because it does, like, when it takes fire damage and you fail the deck save, then you have to roll to see if the Helm of Brilliance explodes and does 1 point of radiant damage for every gem left on it. He had not used any gems.
Does the Necklace of Fireballs still do that too?
I don't know. But fortunately, he was misconstruing the rule. He thought that the helm just exploded on the failed save.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Hey, Zoo,
where he had to make a separate roll to see if it exploded. And we were like, okay, let's just make that roll. So, and make it good.
I can top that. I once had a group. Okay, I gave them free climbing gear, and they're like, all right, so let's give some blips away. Everyone's level 6. Blips right now are worth 450. Y'all need 23,000 to get to level 7.
Yeah.
Is anybody anywhere close to that?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
First blip we give is for creativity. Who had the most creative solution to a problem this session?
Riot for her appeal to the Dragonborn.
Yeah, for a negotiation about giving away the hammer.
Okay.
I feel almost like that was Mahogany, though, because Mahogany was the one who said we need to appeal to his sense of duty. So I would nominate Mahogany for the same thing, and I'll just let the rest of you decide who gets it.
Well, my vote's for Riot, so.
All right, everybody pick a side. Who do you love more?
Riot.
Yeah, I'm fine with Riot. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Mahogany will get something else.
Riot's fine.
All right.
We
Mahogany
give
always gets something else.
one blip for assistance. Who did the most to further the party's goals this week?
That I would be fine giving to Mahogany because it was kind of their both Riot and Mahogany's effort there.
I would also nominate Kelian, who volunteered to be the champion of this box.
Well, it was voluntold,
and
really.
submit to a Gia spell in furtherance of the party's goals.
Yeah.
Kelian?
That's fair, but...
That's also fair.
Okay. We give one blip for badassery. Who was the biggest badass this session?
There wasn't really any combat, but let's see.
Well, you don't have to be in combat to be a badass.
We've been I've been pushing Mahogany, so I mean.
Yeah, do we want to give this to Mahogany for mouthing off at the Dragonborn?
Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm disappointed now because I was really hoping that would be suggested and someone else would pick something else, so that then when we got to intangibles, I could say I want to vote for myself because I've been nominated for every single category and haven't won one yet.
So we do give one blip for intangibles for whatever you guys feel deserves a blip. This is the you have the least amount of stars, have a star blip.
Okay.
I was actually just watching the Giant Bomb Mario Party streams. Holy shit.
God, I hate that game.
Oh, it's so good. And I was telling everyone about when me and Brick played Mario Party, and we talked about how all he could say was how random it was, and I was like, yeah, but then why am I beating your ass on every single one of these mini games?
Let's see, intangibles.
Intangibles.
Did something that I really liked.
JeopardyMusic.mp3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing? Nobody?
I'm having a weirdly hard time figuring it out.
Anyone want to suggest something about themselves?
I mean, I really like Riot casting suggestion on Kelian to keep him out of what's his name's chamber.
So are we saying that Riot made Kelian intangible, and thus Riot wins the intangible split?
Okay, fair enough.
Going to Riot?
Okay.
Okay. And bear with me just 1 second. I'm getting your all's character sheets open here.
Do I still have one of those?
Probably didn't get much use this session.
Well, you might not because you're gonna get amazed by the Lady Pain.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really.
Oh, I
any
played
point.
Planescape Torment. Those mazes are easy.
So, who wants to do a belief rundown first?
I'll do it.
El Ciclon.
Yeah.
Give me a second here.
Oh, I should have won intangibles for Maze Together, Praise Together.
Nope, too late.
Oh, damn it.
El Ciclon. It is a luchador's duty to know what heroism is and exemplify it to the public. Did he live that belief this week?
I wouldn't say to the public, but knowing what being a hero is, because now he's realizing, okay, I can't run away from this bullshit anymore. It's time to start facing it. That's where I think he's.
And is that a luchador's duty?
Yeah.
Okay. And did he learn anything new about his beliefs?
No.
And are they changing?
Nope.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll do it.
Mahogany. Doesn't work as well. There's one perfect state of being for everything, and some cannot be tolerated. Did Mahogany live that belief this week?
It didn't really come up all that much.
Did Mahogany learn anything new about his beliefs?
Yes.
What's that?
Right now he's learning that, for once, other people have beliefs that are very similar to his, and it's the worst.
Okay, unpack that a little bit. Why is it the worst?
Their beliefs, he does think that they're pretty distinct from his own, but they don't. And it's making them do terrible, crazy things that are going to ruin everyone's lives.
So does Mahogany see the Cult of the Jailer as kind of holding a bastardization of his own beliefs?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're the mainstream cipher, and they're the ciphers that are bombing abortion clinics.
Exactly. Basically,
Okay.
they're like Cypher Crystal.
Okay, but the fact is that as far as Mahogany knows, none of them have done anything to promote violence in the city. None of them have done anything like that. Does that impact his view of their beliefs at all?
I mean, honestly, not really. Because just because they're not physically out there causing violence, that doesn't mean that they're not out there causing violence.
Okay, so just kind of bring it around. A belief that is in and of itself harmless, but is perceived as being able to promote violence. Just the perception of it makes the belief dangerous. Is that kind of the ballpark?
Yeah.
Okay. Are Mahogany's beliefs changing?
Not at this time, but they're closer than they've ever been.
Okay. Who's next?
Kelian's turn.
Kelian. Kelian's my favorite. The best outcome is what benefits me or the party the most. Did Kelian live that belief this week?
Yes, he did.
He did. How so?
He totally took on the responsibility for getting the box back, making sure the box is safe, and then making sure that they get the hammer and returning it to Bahamut and being thus ever in the lawful, good, crazy guy's graces.
So Kelian views that as having great benefit to him. He thinks if he does this, that he will have powerful allies on Mount Celestia. Is that how he's looking at it?
Not he himself, but just, hey, we did this. Back off.
Did Kelian learn anything about his beliefs?
He did.
What's that?
That his belief, he doesn't know how to divide his belief when it's himself first or his allies. When Aunt Nancy presented him with the choice of being able to come out ahead and at the expense of his teammates. And he doesn't know what to think of that.
At that time, knowing what Kelian knows, he soaked in the pool of clarity about it. Knowing what Kelian knows about Aunt Nancy's nature, did Kelian believe during that exchange that he would really come out ahead if he took up that offer of being deceptive?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. And are Kelian's beliefs changing?
No. yet.
Okay. All right. Calm down. It's fine. Who's next?
I'm thinking.
I'll go.
Ryota. I've got institutions of control must be resisted where they are not welcome. Did Riot live that belief this week?
I tried to come up with a case for it, and I couldn't, so I'm going to say no.
Couldn't? Okay. Did you learn anything new about her beliefs?
That they're awesome.
You're just learning that?
No.
Okay. And are they changing?
Nope.
Okay. What is Riot's opinion about the control that Koranu very, literally demonstrated over Kelian in terms of giving him a command and then magically binding him to it?
Wasn't crazy about that.
No?
Because Kelian, unlike everybody else in that compound, was not there because he wanted to be. She saw that and I forgive me, I've once again forgotten his name. Koranu, yeah. She saw Koranu's lack of trust in Kelian, and even by extension, Annuleth, to be an imposition of control where it was not welcome.
Okay. Is that opinion tempered any by the fact that Kelian submitted to it willingly? Like he made the choice to go under that command?
Riot doesn't really see it as having been Kelian's choice.
You see it as Kelian having done that under duress?
Yeah.
Okay. Serenity. Serenity's my favorite. By my actions, I will make the multiverse a better place. Did Serenity live that belief this week?
It hasn't really come up.
Has it come up? So, that kind of surprises me, because Serenity took very clear action against this cult, which she believes is going to destroy her faction. Or does that not count as
She hasn't
making
taken
the
any
multiverse
action
better?
yet. She's just decided what she's going to do. I mean,
is that the dividing line between Serenity? Like, having a plan doesn't count. Actually
having
acting
a plan
on the
doesn't mean
plan.
anything. I mean, honestly, a plan is just kind of worthless.
Okay.
What matters is what you do.
Yeah, well, let's see how well that works when we start going to the plane of fire. All right. Yeah.
Serenity's a cipher.
Obviously, if I was supposed to be doing something, I'd be doing it, not sitting here planning.
And did Serenity learn anything new about her beliefs?
No, not particularly.
And are they changing?
No.
Okay. Ciclon and Mahogany. I got 1 BIP for you, 1 BP.
Maxed out still. I did not roll a single thing today.
Yeah, I'm maxed out too. Unless I can I throw a banana right now?
Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can spend it.
Actually, no.
I
You
think
see
I
these D4s right there? I just took 4 D4s for the downtime that we took for my displacer beads.
Okay.
And I got 1, so I'm up to 8 now.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't you have to
Kelian.
change your belief?
It accompanies a change in belief, yes. So yeah, Kelian, if you want to change your belief and send me a message on what your new belief is going to be and what the banana effect is going to be, then you can go ahead and spend those 6 and then take these 2.
I was kidding. I was going to be like, the banana is, the nose is really growing Darkwoods. No.
And he calls you into his office, he's got a bandage on his face, and he just goes, "What the fuck, man?"
Where's my box?
I was counting on that box.